history class today. We have discussed in the last class mainly about the importance played by traders in order to transport different goods from one country to another, and also the new thoughts, religious ideologies, practices, language, etc. of one country to another country. And the most famous trade route that existed in olden time that connected eastern countries to western part of the world were commonly known as Silk Route, and we know why the name came also. So here we are going to study one important point along with the same, that along with the new different varieties of product from one country to another, the traders also helped the movement of a group of people called pilgrims from one country to another. You know who are called pilgrims? Pilgrims are group of people, that is men and women, who are traveling from one country to another mainly to visit worshipping places. That is, religious oriented places will be visited by pilgrims from one country to another. So such pilgrims also had their journey along with the traders from one country to another. Mainly group of traders, mainly the pilgrims in ancient time, were from China. Lot of Chinese pilgrims started to travel from China to India, as India is an important country where lots of different religions are already found. And these Chinese travelers or Chinese pilgrims were mainly came to India or visited India where Buddhist religious oriented places are located. Lots of monasteries, lots of temples, lots of universities where Buddhism's thought, etc. were the important attraction of the Chinese travelers, Chinese pilgrims also. And the most important famous pilgrims from China were hien, huen, tsang and qiung. Three great Chinese pilgrims came to India. All of them had their own contributions, and they also wrote a lot about the places where they visited. They wrote a lot about India, China and other countries, along with the descriptions about the religious practices, the people and their lifestyle, and also the books that they read, and every details or the language that they studied from those particular country, etc. were detailed described by these pilgrims in different books. So many of these Chinese pilgrims, just like hien, huen, tsang or qiung, were also a great contributors to the historians of world countries to know a great in detail about India. From the books written by these Chinese pilgrims, it is a good detailed details about the places through which they passed. That means the mountainous areas or the danger that they faced or the rivers that they need to cross. Every details about the journey from China to India also were included in their books. When they traveled back to their country, they collected different books, mainly written in Sanskrit language, and also the most precious thing that they collected from India was the images or statues of Buddha made of sandalwood, gold, silver, etc. And they kept it as so precious for them and kept with them to their own country. As they were traveling either through water or through land, many dangers they had, many of the books were lost on the way, but anyhow they kept a good eye on all these books for keeping them or to protect them without having much dangers or without much damages. Another important great change that happened during this time was the worship, especially by people, to a particular god. Whatever name they have is not a matter. To a particular god, a devoted worship on a particular deity or an image or a god was also developed during this time. Such a particular worship on a particular deity came to be called as bakthi. It is most important feature of Hindu religion during those times. And people can choose their favorite god, whoever it may be, god or goddess also doesn't matter. They can worship, can offer every kind of their ritual ceremonies, etc. to that particular god. and people believed that if they are believing or worshipping that particular deity or image in their sincere and into their deepest style, they believed that they can see or that deity will be visible in front of them in whichever form they would like to see them. Maybe in the form of a lion or a tree or a pigeon or any whatever kind or whatever form they need to see their particular god, it will be possible. So such a kind of belief that originated in Hindu religion also developed during this time, and the most common gods or goddesses during those time were Vishnu, Shiva, goddess like Durga, etc. And for them also people started to make beautiful images. There is no any particular image for the goddess in their mind. So during those time, artists or painters or sculptors etc. prepared beautiful images of gods and goddesses according to their intuition, and people started to prepare a particular place to keep these deities or images in its perfect form. So temples also started to construct during those time. Due to the importance or development of bakthi, most important development that happened in the art form of art, also in the form of sculpture or the construction of temple etc. also developed during those time, because people had their imaginations about these their favorite god or goddesses, and to see them in whatever form they need, artists prepared or painters painted or sculptors made images etc. on these particular deities. So all these type of changes happen during this time. The word bhakti is a Sanskrit word which came from a Sanskrit word bhaga, which means a share or to divide. That shows the intimate relation between the particular god and his devotee. So such a good relation will be between them. And also this one, that means this bhakti movement or this bhakti type of worship give a great relaxation for the ordinary people. Do you know why? It's mainly that this bhakti type of worship do not support any kind of great rituals, ceremonies etc. for offering to their offering to their gods or goddesses. Instead, bhakti system give more importance for personal devotion or their personal worship towards their chosen god. So during those time, people believed that in order to get salvation or moksha, all people need to conduct any kind of rituals or ceremonies in temples. But when bhakti came, it also gave a chance for common people also to feel the same moksha or salvation without spending money for conducting any rituals or ceremonies, because there is no any such a system where rituals and ceremonies are compulsory. So bhakti movement attracted common or ordinary people to become a great people in society, and lot of people from other different sections, especially from the lower section, upper section or lower section, from lower section also people started to come into their position in society, as there were no any kind of rituals or ceremonies needed. So during this time all these changes happened, especially traders were in one side with their contribution to the society. Kings and queens were also ready to support all these traders or other group of people, and these religions also developed into a lot, especially just like Buddhism and its supporters just like Kanishka, or here this Bhakti movement, a part of Hindu religion, and it also gave a chance for a greater status for the lower section of society, and it also gave a chance for the development of art, poetry or sculpture or architecture etc. So this chapter gave all these details about traders, then religions, or also the great role played by kings to manage all these things. So this chapter came to an end. Let us stop now. Thank you. Have a nice day.